Hi, in this video, I'm going to walk through process scores explanation. The key element of this coding is being able to read each line and setting up a system that can actually count up the plus and the minus sound signs. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into the explanation part. First, these two are implemented so we can enable some of the scanner functions and so on. The file not found exception is thrown so we can avoid the compiler error. And all of these, what they're doing is actually activating the scanner that is reading the input text file. So like this one, for example. And press scores is basically the method that we're going to use. So after we're passing down the scanner input as a parameter, we're now on the process scores. The scanner input is passed down as a parameter. And the first thing we do is reading this next line, the first line. And the first line is usually the name, right? The string name. So we call it name. And I'm actually going to print out the name first because when we're printing out the result, the output is going to appear the name first in the exact format. So the string is going to be printed out. And the next thing I do is reading the string info. And that info is basically the sequence of these plus and minus signs. And after reading that, I'm actually going to pass that string information down to the process info as a parameter. And in the process info, this is where it comes down. We're reading the actual minus and the plus signs. Because we want to count up how many plus signs and how many minus sounds there are. I've activated initialized initialization to integers. So one is plus count and the other one is minus count, that they're both equal to 0. And yeah, for integer, I'm actually going to repeat this. So I'm going to read each character and I'm going to repeat it until the length of the sequence of the signs, right? Like the entire sequence is considered as the one chunk, one token, I would say. And yeah, and because the index usually starts at 0, so this one is 0, we're going to repeat this until we reach the number that is less than the informational length. Okay, and then we increment it by 1, and then we're going to read the character for each index, right, starting from 0, and we're going to call the sign. And if the sign is equal to plus, we're going to count up the plus. We're going to increment it. Otherwise, we're going to minus. We're going to increment the minus count. If it's not plus, it's always going to be minus. So we don't have to use else, if, or statement or anything like that. At the end, after counting up how many pluses we got and also minus we got, we're going to get the percentage for a plus. And the way we do that is dividing the plus count, the number of pluses that are in the sequence, divided by the entire number, the total number of plus and the minus counts. So yes, we add them up and then we divide plus count by that. And because usually this is going to be less than 0, and because these are both integers, it's going to be 0. But that's not what we want. We want the decimal like 0.23 or whatever. So I'm going to multiply the plus count by 1.0 just so we can make it double so it doesn't become just 0. And yeah, at the end, I also have to apply it by 100 because we want the percentage. And at the end, lastly, we print out the percentage and with the plus sign, with the percentage signs. And yeah, let's go ahead and run and see if it works. It works perfectly. And because we didn't have to round the percentages, I'm printing out the exact percentage, as you can see. This explanation, this coding itself is complete. I wasn't necessarily struggling, but there was one part that I was kind of stuck. and that will be this reading this entire part. How should I count up the minus and plus sign? Because there are characters, not strings. So we're not going to consider them as not we're not going to consider one sign as a one tokens. But eventually I realized that I can use the character sign and all that, comparing it, and yeah. And same thing for other files. It's using the same method, but just a different text. So it's going to produce different results. And yeah, that was my explanation. Thank you.